kill for a ciggy right now, I'll tell you that.
Don't let the jury hear you say that. Just try and relax. If you go in there looking worried, it'll come across as guilt.
Don't him looking too relaxed, though he might seem arrogant.
Oh, have you got any more tips? Maybe I'll curtsy to the judge. I don't know, crack a few jokes that should lighten the moment. How about that?
Look, you won't be in the box today. You don't need to worry.
No, I won't, but my ex will. And believe me, if you think things are going badly now, wait till she takes the stand. The jury will be baying for my blood.
Look, she's the one that needs to be worried. She was the main suspect till they arrested you. I'll make sure they know that.
Look, I don't want you hanging this on her. And I don't want you giving her a hard time. OK? She's been through enough.
Do you want to go free or not?
Yes, of course.
Well, just let me do my job, OK? Just concentrate on yourself, not her.
And when Mr. Barlow approached you, from which direction was he coming?
From Rosamond Street. That's just round the corner from Tina's flat.
And how did he seem?
Very agitated and rather abrupt with me, actually.
Did you speak to him?
Yes. I noticed some scratches on his face, so I mentioned it.
And what did he say?
That he'd been scratched by a cat. And then he scurried into the ginnel behind the pub.
Thank you. No further questions.
Miss Taylor, why were you outside the pub?
I was feeling a little lightheaded, so...
Been drinking at the party, hadn't you?
Well, yes.
So not exactly sober when you encountered Mr. Barlow.
Well, not exactly sober, no.
Therefore, not necessarily capable of assessing somebody's behaviour, or indeed your own. For instance, you say he was abrupt. But might that have been because he felt that it was actually none of your business? Or that his reply that a cat had done it was said not to cover anything up, but rather to stop you plying him with interminable questions?
Well...
Might that be possible?
Well, yes.
Might it equally be possible that his agitation was caused not by anything he'd just done, but rather a simple desire to find his wife and tell her about the affair?
Well, yes, I suppose
no
it might be...
further questions.
No re-examination.
Thank you, Miss Taylor. You may leave the witness box.
Your Honour, given that our next witness, Mr. Cole's testimony duplicates Miss Taylor's, and in the interest of saving the court time, we don't intend to call him. Therefore, Your Honour, I call Carla Barlow.
What can I say?
Did you
Clearly
speak
my testimony was sufficient.
Unless he made a complete hash of
And
it.
how
I
did
should
he
have gone first. I have better recall.
And when he returned to the pub, what was his manner?
He was edgy and nervous. He wanted us to go home, and anyway, I refused, so we ended up going to the back of the pub to talk. That's when he told me about the affair. I mean, I'd just announced our pregnancy. And if that wasn't enough, he told me that it was with Tina, our childminder, who I also thought was a good friend.
How old was Miss McIntyre?
23.
And how old is your...
49.
When did the affair start?
Oh, well, that's the best bit. It actually started on the night of our wedding. Well, that's when he kissed her anyway. He was at pains to point out he didn't actually have sex with her. I mean, that was good of him.
And how did he explain his absence from the party?
He said that he'd been to see Tina. She turned up at the party with a bag. You see, she seemed really upset. It's not surprising, really. She thought they were running off together. Instead, she found him toasting our baby, which he'd neglected to tell her about.
And did he say how Miss McIntyre had reacted when he went round?
Yeah. He said she'd made all kinds of threats, and then she'd attacked him.
After Mr. Barlow told you about the affair, what did you do?
I went round to have it out with her.
How would you describe your state?
I was shaken and upset.
And presumably angry.
Well, yeah.
In fact, your husband tried to dissuade you from going, didn't he? Perhaps because he was worried you might hurt her.
Or perhaps he didn't want me to find her dead.
On your way out through the bar, several witnesses heard you say of Miss McIntyre, "I'll kill her."
Hey, she also told me she was only going to talk to him, but they don't mention that, do they?
Look, I said it. I didn't mean it.
Two of the witnesses who discovered the body also say they saw you on the balcony from which Miss McIntyre fell.
Look, I looked for her in a flat, okay? I couldn't find her anywhere. I saw the door to the balcony was open, so I went out.
Why?
I'm sorry?
Well, surely all you needed to do to register the fact she wasn't there was look through the open door. Why actually go out onto the balcony?
Well, I don't know, I just did.
Maybe you were out there because after finishing Miss McIntyre off, you'd hurried back up to clean up any evidence, including from the balcony from which you'd pushed her.
No, that's complete rubbish.
During your police interview on the 27th of May, 2014, DS Hawthorne asked if you had any intention of harming Miss McIntyre when you came round. You replied, "I don't know. I don't know what I was intending. My head was all over the place." On a later interview on the 13th of June, you also said, "I wanted her wiped off the face of the earth."
I also said that I didn't kill her.
Well, with all due respect, if you didn't want to be found out, you would say that, wouldn't you?
Leave her alone. I'm the one on trial, not her.
Mr. Barlow, you will sit down and be quiet,
But she hasn't done anything wrong.
or you will not be allowed to remain in this court.
When your husband told you about the affair, he went into a lot of detail, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he say why?
Yeah, he told me that it was important for him to tell me everything before Tina did.
Before Tina did. Which could mean he thought she was still alive, which in turn could mean he didn't kill her.
Or that he was just making it look like that, trying to cover up. I mean, he had plenty of practice.
He told you he kissed Miss McIntyre on your wedding night.
Yes.
Why tell you such an appalling thing if he didn't need to? If he knew she was dead and therefore you never need to know?
I don't know.
Might it have been because when he left Miss McIntyre, she was still very much alive?
Maybe.
So you agree he may not have killed her?
Yeah, I do. I don't think he did kill her.
Miss Jones, less soliciting of opinions from the witness, Miss Barlow, stick to the facts, not your opinions.
But they're based on facts. If you just let me explain.
Go on.
It's a few things, really, that didn't amount to much, but when you put them all together, they...
Go on.
When Peter saw Tina being put into the ambulance that night, he looked at me and he said, "What the hell have you done?" I mean, like he was genuinely shocked. If he'd done it, if it was him, if he was pretending, he would have said something like, "What's happened?"
The facts, Miss Barlow.
No, but don't you see, he wouldn't try and make out it was me.
Did Mr. Barlow say anything else about the death of Miss McIntyre?
Yeah. When he was in hospital later, he'd asked me to come see him. So I did, and he told me he knew that I killed Tina, which I hadn't, by the way. But that I wasn't to worry, because he wouldn't tell anyone. Now, he thought he was dying. Why would he say that? Unless he truly believed that I'd done it, which means that he couldn't have.
Miss...
I'm sorry.
Was anyone else there at the time?
No. I told my brother, but he said it wasn't sold enough to go on. But you know what? It's sold enough for me.
Suddenly, right, there she is, taking my side, actually saying that she didn't think I'd done it.
Lucky beggar.
Yeah, I am lucky. Because not only does that prove she believes me, but she still loves me.
Hey, hang on. I'm not quite sure how we got from A to B there.
Oh, all right then. Well, she still cares about me. All right, but that's something for me to build on, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm chuffed for you.
Thanks.
Now all you need to do is get out of here.
I will do. You watch me. Tomorrow I'm going to go in there all guns blazing and clear my name.